going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the German Bear Podcast. And today I want to talk about one of the biggest under-the-radar free agent acquisitions by the Chicago Bears in 2023 with nose tackle Andrew Billings. The Chicago Bears and GM Ryan Poles invested heavily into the linebacking core in 2023 with signing Tremaine Edmunds to a massive deal and also getting good money to TJ Edwards while free agency too. And this created basically one of the best cores in the entire league for linebackers. They already had Jack Sanborn, added two really good other guys there now too, but the linebackers can only be good if there is a gap eater in front of them that makes their life easier. And there we insert Andrew Billings. For the contract details, Andrew Billings signed a one-year, $2.75 million contract. $2.31 million of those are guaranteed. And for me personally, that's great value for a starting nose tackle, which is crucial, especially for Matt Eberflus's 4-3 defense, especially on early downs. We'll talk about that in depth in today's film room analysis, where we want to look at his run defense and also his ability to rush the passer a little bit, even though it's kind of limited in that aspect. But before we want to do that, we quickly want to get into the stats for Andrew Billings. He's a 6'1", 328-pound nose tackle, so pretty heavy guy there that is aged at 28 years young still, which is a great age to be in right now, just entering basically his prime. He was selected in the 4th round in the 2016 draft by the Cincinnati Bengals, played there for 3 years, then last year was in Cleveland, or 2 years ago was in Cleveland, and then last year was with the Las Vegas Raiders. And during that time, he played in 14 games and started all 14 of those. He had actually 2 sacks. According to Pro Football Reference, it's only 1. According to PFF, it's 2. And we will see later on in the pass rush category that he actually had 2 in last season. So I don't know what was that with the PFR, but it's actually 2 sacks, 39 combined tackles, 3 TFLs, 3 quarterback hits, and also combined 3 pressures and 1 quarterback knockdown in 2022. Pretty solid stats for a very underrated player that flies under the radar, but as I said, will be a crucial part of the Chicago Bears defensive success. And with that being said, we actually want to move on and look at why the Chicago Bears brought him in, and that was because his big ability to stop the run. Andrew Billings is a nose tackle with a lot of qualities, but as I already mentioned earlier in today's video, his run defense is absolutely phenomenal. Now, what does he do so well? What was evident on film? First of all, he will take on double teams, which is super big. He won't move at all, and his ability to anchor against the run game is absolutely phenomenal. He will stop linemen from moving forward and keep them backwards, and that's just absolutely what we need in 2023 after massively struggling against the run in 2022. Also, he has pretty much incredible power at the point of attack. He has very violent hands to ship blocks, is a very gap sound player that's really intelligent. We'll see that later on as well. And he's very smooth as well and pretty quick for his size, which was kind of an underrated part of his game that I didn't expect going into the film room, but he really showed that today, and that's something that I'm really excited about. But starting off with actually his anchor and his power, there was a beautiful play against the Denver Broncos where Denver actually was backed up on their own end zone. They tried an inside zone run, and he got double teamed on that play, and he just had a really quick first step right there to position himself on the superior position. Then he just basically anchors strong versus the double team and then powers through and makes a beautiful tackle right there to, I don't know if it was a safety, but he was just right there to stop the run right there against the Broncos and had a beautiful double team that he took on and just dominated that rep 100%. Then another one of those examples against the LA Chargers where they this time had a outside zone play, and I have to say there was really a big play by Max Crosby in there as well, who just closes the edge fast, forcing the cutback for the running back, and then Andrew Billings just gets off cleanly on that rep too, is really strong at the point of attack, has the eyes in the backfield, and then just follows the block to make the tackle, and that was just a picture-perfect play by Andrew Billings and the entire Raiders defense, to be honest. Then another example against the Indianapolis Colts where he had a one-on-one with Ryan Kelly, one of the best centers in the entire NFL, and there just once again is very strong at the point of attack. And what I love right there is just this pure power that he possesses on the play, just swiping Kelly away, swiping him to the side, and almost made the tackle. But just love the crazy strength that he displayed there once again on that play. Then another aspect that I already mentioned but also love a lot is his patience and intelligence. Once again, against the Indianapolis Colts, they try the inside zone this time, and there's a big gap opening over the middle, and I just love how he controls the block all the way through, patiently waits for JT to make his decision, and then just as soon as Jonathan Taylor actually decides to hit the gap, he then sheds the block and tackles him for a picture perfect play. Once again, just love how he looks around. Is he going that way? Is he going that way? And then decides for it, boom, sheds, and then is in the backfield almost, but still prevents a bigger gain from happening. Beautiful play there by Andrew Billings once again. But it's not only the strength and the intelligence that really struck out on tape, it's also his quickness and agility that was excellent on film at times, really, which was kind of surprising to me. Against Seattle, one great example where instead of attacking the guard right away with power, he just basically slips by him with a nasty, almost slide move, and then just lands in the backfield within less than 1 second and just simply makes a tackle for loss, I think against Kenneth Walker, which is a super big play. And this was one that I loved. And then another TFL play against the Pittsburgh Steelers later in the season where he once again gets off the snap fast and then keeps the leverage to the guard with a strong right arm. So right there, I love how he still plays with power, but also combines that with his quickness and agility, and then just makes another TFL right there on the running back against the Steelers, which was another big play to see. So overall, we can say that Andrew Billings is a phenomenal run stuffer that will hold the gaps, will play strong at the point of attack, and then also has some quickness to him as well that he can use at certain times to beat the guards in other situations, or the centers, depending on where he plays. I have to mention he mostly plays 1 or 0 technique, so as I said, he is a nose tackle, but there was also some plays, for the example against the Chargers earlier on in the season, where he actually slotted in as a 3-tech. That shouldn't happen too often, but like I said, he did that at certain times. But now, as I said, his role will be limited to early downs, stuffing the run. But what if he is on the field actually on, for example, a 3rd down call? How will he do on those? And this is why we now want to focus on his pass rush ability. And to be honest, Andrew Billings will never be a great pass rusher in his career. I mean, if he does so and develops into one of the better defensive linemen in the league, all right, I totally take it. But right now, his pass rush ability is very much limited. The one thing that he does pretty well is his bull rush. No surprise here, but with being that strong and just basically pushing back guys. That's basically it for the moment. But if he has to be on the field on certain downs where he needs to rush the passer, he at least won't be a disadvantage for the defense, which is one great point to still point out here. And when we actually get into 2 plays still, though, the 2 sacks that he had in 2022, I think it's pretty much fun to look at those at least. Both against Seattle, the first one was more of an effort play, but that's why I love it as well, that play specifically, because he plays once again against a double team on that play and just constantly fights through it and then finishes the play. Yes, it was more of a coverage sack in that situation, but still loved how he hustled through, never gave up, and then got his redemption with a big time play and getting the sack right there on Geno Smith. And then the second one against Seattle, which was actually a pretty beautiful pass rush rep right there. For me, his best rush of the entire season, this time against the center of the Seahawks, and he uses right there, not a bull rush, but somewhat of a swim move actually to get past the center real quick and then beat him really fast, like I said, and then finish the sack once again on Geno Smith. So it's not a big threat, his pass rush ability, but at least there were some plays. He basically had 2 sacks last season, so that was great to see. And if he is on the field, like I said, he won't be a huge disadvantage, which is at least the minimum that he has to do on the field in those situations. And with that being said, overall for Andrew Billings, I feel like it's a great signing for the Chicago Bears. He will be a key contributor to the Bears defense, especially on the early downs. Like I said, he will take on double teams, free the linebackers behind him and TJ Edwards, and especially Tremaine Edmonds Dolphins should absolutely feast off of that. And then just his solo plays that he made against the run were absolutely beautiful as well. So it's a very underrated signing that will be probably someone that won't be in the spotlight a lot during next season, but right now it's looking like it's an impact signing that goes under the radar, and I'm really much happy that Ryan Poles found him on the free agent market and got him for a cheap deal. So for me, it's an absolute steal right there, and I can't wait and see how well Andrew Billings does for the Chicago Bears defense in 2023. And with that being said, that's the end of the episode, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. Definitely let me know in the comments down below what you think of the signing of Andrew Billings, especially for that price. Like and subscribe if you liked the video. Check out Instagram and Twitter if you want to as well. And as always, guys, bear down.